Hi, my name is Mark McDowell. I'm the managing director here at Primal. We're a digital agency helping brands grow. And this week on One Question, how to know if you need an in-house digital team or if you need to hire an agency. So we're gonna make this into a bit of a series, but for the first question, we're going to answer essentially that. So do you need a digital agency, or do you need to build an in-house team, or do you need a bit of both? So this is probably more relevant for heads, VPs of marketing within brands looking to begin their digital programs. As some of us may have experienced before, you've become perhaps a little bit frustrated in your experiences with hiring agencies or even trying to develop in-house teams. When looking at the various options, whether you have an agency, do both, or build out an in-house team, there are pitfalls and advantages to each option. So what we find usually is that when you're a head of marketing within a brand, at times you'll find yourself leaning on agencies because of time sensitive issues. You want to start a digital marketing program, but it's very time sensitive and you want to get things up and running quite quickly. One of the key challenges with that is that it can be quite time consuming to be looking for and hiring for a particular set of skills within digital marketing. It can also be quite expensive as well, being able to afford a full-time employee, to handle that for you, and whether you've got enough work there to fulfill the need to have a full-time employee fulfilling that capacity within your company. The other side of it is that it's a little bit risky. So if you get someone full-time, it means you've got to really commit to having that person long-term, unless it's on a project by project or a contract basis. The other one is you might have an in-house team, but you've really got to fulfill a lot of very specific sets of skills. And when it comes to Thailand, the digital talent, I would say, is a lot limited in comparison to a lot of the countries in the US or Australia, where digital is still up and coming. So being able to find individuals with the expertise in particular channels within digital marketing can be quite challenging. This also brings in the need for potential recruitment agencies as well, where you can incur high fees to find the right people, and who's to say that they are the right people there for the long term. That versus potentially hiring an agency, where if you're looking to begin digital marketing programs, one of the advantages to that is that it's more of a shortcut way to get access to a team with expertise quite quickly. So a lot of people go to digital agencies to one, figure out their digital strategy, and two, execute on that strategy, or both. One of the common, I would say, misconceptions about hiring an agency is that we get to save time and we get to save money. Actually, you get to save time, but in most cases it can at times be a little bit more expensive than finding a full-time employee to handle that workload in a digital marketing capacity or under one of the channels under digital marketing. When it comes to agencies, the actual value to be had is timing. You can get access to experts, get things up fairly quickly because everything's already been optimized for that process, and you get to have the the experts, and it's also scalable. If you need experts in one particular channel versus another, you can get access to those quite quickly. So having a look at having an in-house team or hiring an agency outright has its pitfalls and its advantages. And what about both? So actually, this is probably one of the most common scenarios that we've come across as an agency, where a brand does have in-house staff, but what we find that they're more generalists. They come under various job titles such as digital marketing managers. Now this to us means that, okay, well, they're very good at understanding the digital programs, but they don't have that deep knowledge in particular channels in order to execute upon them to the next level. I guess a checklist in terms of identifying whether you need one or not. Some good scenarios would be that you've already identified your digital strategy, you're executing on the channels that that work, but because the team are perhaps generalists, you're not having the expertise or the deep knowledge in particular channels to really take it to the next level. So that's a good opportunity to potentially look into an agency. The second one is that you need access to the experts because you've hit that wall, and you really need to scale to have more experts working on it to really again, take things to the next level. You might also find yourself with you might be entering a new market, and therefore you've got a skeleton team, and you really need to beef it up with some extra resources very quickly. So, it all ties into time sensitivity as perhaps one of the main factors, and because you don't have the time to be building, or there might even be the opportunities to have the resources out there in order to bring them into your company or brand to really fulfill the workload as well. So a case study, I guess, for this, and Primal, we just recently started working with a FMCG brand, whereby they quite traditional in the way that they've been doing things. They do have a marketing team, but they don't have the deep knowledge within digital to really be executing on a very strong digital strategy. Hence, they've looked towards Primal as an agency in which we work with their marketing teams in order to execute the strategies that we've recommended and execute it for them to help their marketing teams really fill that knowledge gap. So we'll be answering another question in relation to this topic again next week. So thanks for listening, and I hope you got some value out of it. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop one anywhere on our social platforms, and we'll be sure to pick it up. As this is a series, next week we'll be answering when you might need an agency. As today we've answered how to know if you need an in-house team or an agency. So when also becomes quite an important factor. Catch you next time.